Well, this segment has certainly sucked this year, hasn't it? You know, the pass rush videos in the last couple years have been some of my favorite videos to do. But this year, man, it's like this permanent reminder of how bad this defense has been. Even during that 1 month where they were really, really good and it was better, of course. Like by definition, it kind of had to be better during that month, or else it wouldn't have been so effective. But like, man, of all the things about this defense that are sad, this pass rush leads the way. And they actually had, I'd say, one of their better games on Saturday against the Chiefs. Really, we'll break down the numbers and I'll say why I feel that way. But my gosh, it's just kind of unbelievable where we are right now. I remember in previous years, it take them one game to put up what it feels like it takes them a month to put up now. Like this team could play 4 games and put up like 20 pressures across those 4 games, and it wouldn't even be surprising. Meanwhile, you think about the great Seahawks defenses, 20 pressures in a game feels almost trivial. Like they could have done that easily. They could have done that against an elite offense, an elite offensive line. So, as you guys can tell, it wasn't great against the Chiefs. I'm sure you guys knew that from watching the game. I will say, though, there was some not terrible stuff. The defensive line, it was really only 2 guys, but we actually got decent pressure from the line. It was the best pressure we got from the defensive line since way back in game number 8. So, like 2 months ago, we had Shelby Harris get 1 pressure, and Quentin Jefferson actually credited with 3, which, I mean, I didn't notice him get 3. I noticed him get maybe a couple, but, whatever. The numbers are the numbers, and it's defensible. I looked into it a little bit. It is a defensible take. Quentin Jefferson did have a really nice game, and when you're playing against that really good Chiefs offensive line, getting 3 pressures in a game is commendable. And even though Quentin Jefferson doesn't really have any place on this team past this year, I don't think. I will say this, as much as he's not really a good player, he has provided some pressure as the year's gone on. I thought he was going to get 15 pressures. He's currently got 13. He may get there. Problem is, he's playing way more than I thought he was, which kind of diminishes the value of that. No other defensive lineman got any pressures. Obviously, Al Woods did not play. Monet did not play. So, still same old there. But 4 pressures combined from the defensive line is actually commendable. Okay, moving on. Edge rushers. We also got a little bit of action here. It wasn't bad. Taylor had the sack, so he got the pressure there. Nwosu had a pressure, and Bruce Irvin had a pressure. So those are your 3 main edge rushers. Boye Mafe, who did not get a pressure, actually played a pretty good game, I think. One of our better defensive players, so I'm not unhappy about that. He got a tackle for loss, which is basically, effectively a sack. So I guess the edge rushers played okay in this game overall. And again, we're grading them on a very, very low curve, right? 3 pressures in a game from your edge rushers is not great. Even though we only faced like 50-something snaps, it's still not very good. But given the way this edge group has played in some of the games this year, it's actually, I mean, I'm willing to live with that. It's better than what we've seen in plenty of games this year. So, yeah. That's it, though. Nothing from the interior linebackers, nothing from Brooks or Barton. No blitzing corners in this game, I don't think. No blitzing safeties. So you got 7 QB pressures. 7 quarterback pressures, 3 of them coming from 1 guy. And that's continuing a trend. I mean, I go over this stuff every now and then, but we got 2 games left, and I don't know if we're going to get to 110 pressures. We may not. Keep in mind, we play 17 games now. We may not get to 110 pressures in 17 games. I feel like the great Seahawks defenses of old could have gotten 110 pressures in a month. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but not by nearly as much as I should be. And you look at the season trend line here. They peaked in game 1. Game 1 against Denver, playing with all that adrenaline. They had 16 QB pressures. They really did a good job getting to the quarterback. And this was with Denver getting away with all kinds of holding calls. That didn't, or excuse me, holding non-calls. So that's your best game of the year. You have this one stretch in the middle of the year where you get straight games of double-digit pressures, which honestly shouldn't be that big of a deal, but for this defense it was. And then you just, like, one pressure in a whole game, four pressures, three pressures, five. It's, this is why, and I understand that Jalen Carter is going to help with this kind of stuff as well. This is why I can't get on board when people start to get, lose interest in the Will Anderson path. I think some Seahawks fans have really started to lose interest in maybe taking Will Anderson with our top pick. I can't be like that looking at the way this pass rush is. So, yeah. But yeah, we got 2 games left, guys, and taking a look at some of the projections, you can see Shelby Harris is going to fall well short. I still think Shelby Harris is a good player, and his lack of performance this year is circumstantial. But 7 pressures from a starting defensive end in your defense, the guy you traded for to probably be your best defensive lineman, that's not good. You can see that we have some guys who have come close to expectations, like Quentin Jefferson and Poona Ford. They may get very close to, if not meeting, my projection. But we also kind of needed a happy accident. Like, I thought Miles Adams was going to step up and contribute a little bit, but he's basically been a non-factor this whole season. You don't really play him that much, and when you do, the results have been okay. But you needed a happy accident like that with this defensive line being what it is, and you didn't get it. And of course, Darrell Taylor has been a huge disappointment. He might get to like 20 pressures on the year, which is not terrible, but it's not screaming future Pro Bowler to me at all. Nwosu's lived up. That's been great. But that doesn't really make up for the fact that Darrell Taylor is kind of... I mean, he was the guy who I fully expected to lead the team in pressures. So, big disappointment there. You're not seeing as much blitzing as I would like from the middle linebackers. Maybe some of that stuff got thrown away when Jamal Adams went down, but you're not seeing very much of that. And that is the one thing I will say here. Jamal Adams going down after 15 snaps in game 1 is devastating to this pass rush. I think that if Jamal's in there, not only is he probably got double-digit pressures at this point in the year, but you might be blitzing the interior linebackers more. The edge rushers might be benefiting from his presence. Maybe the defensive line is as well, just because it gives the defense more to think about. I do think there's some credibility to the thought that, hey, this defense was missing one of their best pass rushers all year. There's a little bit of credibility there. I'm not going to discount it, but, man, I don't think that totally justifies things like Darrell Taylor or Shelby Harris or not getting that surprise happy accident. Like you see players come out of nowhere and be quality contributors as pass rushers in this league all the time. And I'm not talking like they get double-digit sacks. I'm just talking they get, the occasional sack. And maybe they're giving you like 12 to 15 pressures over the course of a year. That's less than 1 a game. You see guys like that all the time. We needed a guy like that this year. No. The guy we had who maybe could have been that, Miles Adams, ended up basically being a complete non-factor. All right. So we'll see what we do in the next 2 games, but there's really no saving the pass rush. They played probably one of their better games of the year against Kansas City overall, and it's still just like completely toothless. Kind of sad. One guy stood out. Other than that, it's just kind of whatever. All right. I'll catch you guys later today. Probably another video, probably more streams. Go Hawks.